back. We're celebrating new music with the band Priest. Mercury is joining us all the way from Sweden, and we're talking about the new record. Talk about with Dark Pulse and the new single Just a Game and Video, how you stepped it up and you feel that this is your strongest work to date.
We recorded this album for the last 1.5 years. We were heavily touring band during after the last album. I think we did 182 shows all in all since we released Dark Pulse. No, since we released Body Machine back in 2022. And we recorded Dark Pulse when we were basically home from touring. And so it was more of a stream of consciousness recording. And in the middle of the recording, the title came clear, and then I started to remember my time in Berlin and all the partying. You know, Berlin is a great party city, but it's also a backside of partying. So I wanted those memories came back, and that's starting to come into the lyrics a little bit. But it's with us, we're a cyberpunk influenced band, so we always make everything on a Blade Runner backdrop, you can say. So it was an exploration of that. And for the videos, we worked with different people. The latest video is done by Claudio Marino, which have worked with Behemoth and Shining, and also with Ghost, actually. So it's a pleasure working with him, and he's very professional. And I think the latest video is really, really cool. So check it out if you already haven't.
Yeah, well, being self-contained, you're always ready to tour, and I understand it's pretty self-contained. You have your tracks, your gear, your masks, and your passports, and you're ready to travel. Talk
Yeah.
about what's ahead promoting this record.
We gonna take some time off this summer. Time off meaning that we're preparing for the next album or the next masks, and we needed also a break from the extremely heavy touring that we done also. So we've been to with Priest already. We have done 5 US tours since 2022, October 2022. That's it, and that's a lot. And I think it's 4 European tours in the same time span. So it's not been a lot of time home. So what we're gonna do, it's having a big European tour, a UK tour this fall, and we're coming back to the States in March next year for an extensive US tour. Before that, we have some festivals and some gigs planned out. Also, we have a festival in Sweden and festivals in Finland booked in, and Spain also. But it's gonna be a little time off this summer so we can start preparing for the next record and the next masks, because that's a creative process that will take over a year to finish, both for the masks and for the record, in order to make everything good. And that we can't be on the road all the time to make that happen. So that's our plan. So we're not gonna go to Bahamas. We're gonna go into another creative process, basically. But otherwise, we do what we can to promote it, and we have some plans now. Going up to Stockholm, maybe do a little prank up there. I will give you the news after.
Fantastic. Well, I've grown up all over the world, so I know what you speak in Berlin and Sweden and England and everything. But you know, America is where I'm from, and I live in Los Angeles. So tell us about your early influences. You know, when I think of Berlin, I also go all the way back to the David Bowie era, you know, with Eno and Low and Heroes and, you know, producing Iggy Pop and all that. And I know it can be a dark city, it can be a party city. There's, you know, challenges and danger everywhere you go. But talk about who Who were some of those electronic artists or innovators that have inspired you over the years?
Of course, you already mentioned David Bowie, of course. You can't do pop music without having him in mind in some way. He's an innovator and spreads from many genres. He's also, of course, collaborated a lot with Brian Eno, which as a producer, but also as a standalone artist, is one of my favorites. I listen a lot to ambient music and did so also when I was younger. But I would say Depeche Mode, of course, and also Prodigy. I listen a lot to the British electronica that came out in the 90s, like
Okay.
Underworld, the Prodigy, Chemical Brothers, Left Field, stuff like that. But with this band, we dove a little deeper into the 80s. So I would say Nitzer Ebb from 242, bands like that also. That's a bigger influence on Priest than what we do now. In the future, we might go more towards the UK scene in the rave ambient techno scene in the 90s. So
Okay.
we will explore or revisit those times a little bit more, maybe on upcoming albums as well. But we are a band that try to do different genres. So on one Priest album, you will find different genres, but most maybe prominent in synth pop and dark gothic electronic music.
Yes. Well, I know most of that music is rooted or born from European, territories and artists. But why is it important for you to come to America and make sure that those that love this kind of music in America get to know Priest and come out to the shows and become followers of your music?
I think it's a nostalgic element, and of course, the goth industrial scene is prominent in US and of course Canada and Mexico too, for that matter.
Uh-huh.
And I think we want to provide, of course, this melody language that we have naturally from Europe. It's I think it's a little bit different than what you get in the US. It's we're for different reasons. I don't know what it is, but there's some differences. But when you come to a pre-show, you can make sure that you will get a high octane live show, and it's like stepping into a 80s sci-fi horror movie, but with great melodic music presented to you. So it's like stepping into another world, and that's what we are about. We want to make the best live show that I personally want to go see, So, and I think if you do something that's true to yourself, it will resonate. And that's not about resonating with a certain culture or in a certain country. I think that resonates with you as a human being, And if you just being that true to yourself and you really have the will to go there, I think that resonates with an audience, and it doesn't matter if it's the US or in Europe. And that's what we want to do.
Yes. Well, I know, of course, there's fans all over North America that anticipate the new music and are loving the new video. And I know you've got a good machine behind you. And I know it sounds
Thank
like
you.
you're always thinking one step ahead of the next record and a bigger tour and, more exposure. And I know the travel is the hardest part of touring, not the time on stage, but the time to get to the city and get to the stage can be grueling,
Yeah,
especially in a country like America that is so big.
for
You
sure.
can fit most European countries inside of California or Texas,
Yeah,
It's
basically,
yeah, it's very,
yeah,
very large. But
yeah.
we love what you do and encourage
Thank
everyone
you.
to go check out, of course, priestnexus.com
Oh
and get
yeah.
all the music.